It's our pleasure to welcome to the show the power couple filmmakers Michael Easterling and Jaala Ruffman. They have a new movie called Deltopia, which is based on a true story down there in Isla Vista, where, of course, UC Santa Barbara is. Let's start, ladies first. Jaala, I saw something that the people of Isla Vista, maybe you would say the blue hairs, they were not liking this. There was a little bit of a backlash, wasn't there?
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. First of all, we're really excited to be on the show. But yeah, we had some backlash. There was definitely some students and some locals that were not into it, but we actually had a lot more support than may have been seen outside. We had a lot of students and a lot of alumni calling us and wanting to be involved and wanting to support in any way they could, wanting to tell us stories. I mean, we had already filmed the movie when the news had come out, but there was some backlash, but there was actually a lot more support that sort of wasn't in the news.
And Michael, I think some people, too, they thought about Del Playa, the movie about that horrific shooting, and they're like, yeah, they're just exploiting us again. They kind of lumped you in with that, didn't they?
I think they just kind of saw Hollywood kind of coming into their town, and to relate it to a horror movie is kind of out of control. But, we really just wanted to make a coming-of-age story that took place over 24 hours about these characters that just go to the craziest party of all time. So when we were doing our research, we just happened to find out about this little party called Deltopia. We got to get our characters to go to this place. So that's kind of where we were coming from, just trying to make a really good movie and show emotion, and they kind of took it out of hand.
And Jaala, I remember in the 80s when I was in college, my roommate's girlfriend went to Santa Barbara, and I don't think I was supposed to, but I spent the night in Fontainebleau, which was an all-girl dorm. But Isla Vista, as a town, I mean, it's not only a great college town, but you got all this affordable pizza and beer, and you got the beach right there. I don't know if I would have been disciplined enough to go to class. What's your take on IV?
Right? I mean, I agree with that. I think it's like probably the most beautiful, awesome place to go to school. But yeah, no, exactly. I didn't go there. I grew up in Malibu. So I did go there as a high schooler to party with the college people, and it was like that. It was crazy. It was just an experience, and it was like these kids running the town. I had never seen like a town that was pretty much fully like all run by the college kids, and they have the beautiful beach and everything like that. So I don't know if I would have gotten work done there either, but it definitely was a great place to go to school.
So did you go to Pepperdine, being a Malibu kid?
I actually didn't go to college. So I went to Malibu High School, and then I started making movies, short films, music videos.
Well, good. You can laugh at your guidance counselor now that you're a big success, right?
Exactly right, yeah.
Very cool. Madison Pettis, as you know, is in this movie. And at Super Bowl 50, 8 years ago, in person on Radio Row, I sat down with her, and she was, I don't know, like 17 or 16 years old or something, and she was a young star on the rise. And look at her now. She's a big deal. What was it like working with her?
It was so amazing. Like, our whole cast was just so incredible, and Madison was just, she blew us away. Like a lot of people know her as a younger actress, and I think all the actors really have incredible performances in this film, and I think that they'll all go on to be huge stars because they're just so talented, and we were so blessed to have such an incredible cast, and we actually spent a long time casting, and it paid off.
Couple more questions for Michael Easterling and Jaala Ruffman, the new movie Deltopia. Michael, when you think about a college party movie, sex, drugs, rock and roll, obviously you can fall into some of the tropes. What were some of the things that you were kind of trying to avoid and to separate yourself from the normal party movie?
A lot of people will call this a party movie, but I think when some people see it, some people will see it for the drama, and some people will see it just for the growing up, coming of age type quality. And so we didn't really, when we were directing and making the film, we tried not to focus too much on the partying, because that's really just kind of the background of what our characters are going through. So trying to not get lost in this party world was really our goal as the directors throughout.
At Chico State, they used to have this thing called Pioneer Days that were started in World War I, and it basically turned into a situation where the entire town was being destroyed as a giant street party, and so they got rid of Pioneer Days. Where are we in the scope of Deltopia down in IV? Is it still going?
Yeah, Deltopia is still going. It's going. I know during COVID it had its least bit. And I know people probably don't want me the locals probably don't want me promoting that it's still going, but I hear that it's still going and the party's going strong. You know, an interesting story about Santa Barbara, I think Isla Vista, it has a very big rebellion in its history, and sort of that was a big theme in our film, is individual versus society and sort of standing up against the man. And back in the 70s, there was a riots in Isla Vista. And I think Reagan was governor then, and they had to send in the National Guard. They burnt down the Bank of America. It was just crazy. And I think it was an anti-war protest for Vietnam. But it just it has this energy there that's just super rebellious, in a good way, you know? And obviously things get out of hand, and that 2014 got out of hand, and we show that in the film. But I think there's just this energy of kids wanting to get out of the oppression of all the adults and authority figures in their lives.
And let me ask you this too, Michael, because a lot of people looking at these kids, they'll say every guy is a douchey frat bro with a backwards hat. Every girl is just some dumb, slutty girl. And they're people, and we were all that age at one point. So how do you sort of bring the human element to it to avoid these stereotypes?
First off, to get into UCSB, I think you have to have a 4.2 or something GPA to get in. So these are smart kids. They're not just your regular riffraff. So just getting into school, that's a huge accomplishment. So shout out to all the college students who are enrolled this year. These kids really are focused on trying to get their masters and focus more on school than the party aspect, but they got to let loose sometimes. So they do the spring break, and then they go around and they come back for Halloween. So yeah,
Halloween is pretty epic there. There's no doubt. Jaala, just as an aside, personally, what was the best party you went to when you were that age, and then what was the worst one you went to?
The best party I went to when I was that age, I had a friend's band from Malibu called 2 Cents. They used to go up and play at some frat houses up there. And so one night we went up there, and I don't even know what the party was for. I think this was my first time going to Isla Vista, but it was just so much fun, and just the freedom I felt when I went out there, and you're just running around and the kids rule, you know, that's how it feels. So that was the best time. And then it might have been the same night that it was the worst time. And then I ended up in a disgusting frat house with nowhere to sleep. And it was just the dirtiest thing I had ever experienced. So I think that was actually the same night, both of those experiences. But 30 frat houses, scary, dirty.
Last question for you, Michael. When you work with your partner in life, that's a double-edged sword, because so many things are so easy, but then again, you don't get a break, and you might get on each other's nerves. How did it work for you guys?
We started a business 12 years ago called Talkboy TV, a music video company, and so we've pretty much done short movies for the past 10 years. And so kind of learning that relationship, learning how we work, giving each other space is important. But yeah, when we sat down to write this script, love was a big key. We wanted to make a teen love movie that was truly Southern California and truly American.
And we trust each other. So if we're on set and one person is really rallying for something, even if we might not have time, if one person really believes in getting the shot or doing another take, we make it happen. I think it's about trust.
Very cool.
Definitely.
Exciting times for you guys. Deltopia, the brand new movie, and their parents as well.